Let us show the double angle identities using these two main identities. From identity 2, we have that cosine of u plus u, we are making v equal u, is equal to cosine of u times cosine of u minus sine of u times sine of u. Therefore, we get that cosine of u plus u is 2u equal to cosine of u times cosine square of u minus sine square of u. If we want sine square of u to disappear, we can use identity 1 and we get that sine square of u is equal to 1 minus cosine square of u. And if we use this equation here, we get that this is equal to cosine square of u minus parentheses 1 minus cosine square of u, which gives us that cosine of 2u is 2 times cosine square of u minus 1. We can solve for cosine square of u here by adding 1 in both sides of the equation. Cosine of 2u plus 1 equal 2 times cosine square of u. Then we divide by 2 and we get that cosine square of u is equal to 1 plus cosine of 2u divided by 2. If we take a square root, we get that cosine of u is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine of 2u divided by 2. We can rewrite this equation by making 2u equal theta. Therefore, u is equal to theta over 2, and then we write cosine of u, but u is theta over 2 equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 plus cosine of 2u, but 2u is equal to theta divided by 2. Okay, this is what we get when we have this equation and we replace this equation and we replace the sine square by cosine square. But if we start from this equation but we want to make cosine square to disappear, then we can use the fact that cosine square of u is 1 minus sine square of u, and then we get that cosine of 2u here, cosine of 2u is equal to cosine square of u, but instead of cosine square of u, I write 1 minus sine square of u minus sine square of u. Then we get that this is 1 minus 2 sine square of u, and if we want to solve for sine square of u, we get that sine square of u is 1 minus cosine of 2u divided by 2. Therefore, we get that sine of u is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine of 2u divided by 2. And again, if we make 2u equal theta, then we can rewrite this equation as sine of theta over 2 equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 minus cosine of theta divided by 2. Notice that the plus or minus, you decide about the plus or minus depending on the quadrant in which theta over 2 is located.